The night she compared me to him, something in me stopped moving. My ex made me feel appreciated, she said. No hesitation, no awareness of the knife she'd just turned. I didn't yell, didn't ask questions. I just stood, picked up her suitcase from the closet, and set it beside the door. The sound of it hitting the floor was louder than her breath. "Then go where you feel that way," I said. She blinked, waiting for me to break, to plead, to become the man she could manipulate. But I didn't. The next morning, she was gone. The house was quieter, lighter. My coffee didn't taste bitter anymore. 3 days later, her sister called, voice trembling. She's not eating, not sleeping, says she messed up. I stared out the window, watched the rain crawl down the glass, and said nothing. Some lessons can't be explained. They have to be lived. It hadn't started with that sentence. That was just the final cut. The rot began small, tiny acts of disrespect she thought I wouldn't notice, mocking the way I worked, dismissing every word that didn't flatter her, turning affection into leverage. It's strange how people forget that silence remembers everything. I noticed when she started locking her phone, when she dressed up for girls' nights that ended in 3 a.m. Uber receipts. I noticed the hesitation when I said, "I love you," and she replied, "Yeah, you too." I didn't confront her. That's what she expected. A reaction, a scene, something to feel powerful about. Instead, I watched, collected, waited. By the time she said, "My ex made me feel appreciated," I already knew the truth. The late-night texts, the secret lunches, the emotional rehearsal for her exit. All I had to do was open the door for her to walk through. She called a few times after she left, never to apologize, just to test. "How are you?" she'd ask, feigning softness. "Fine." Long pause. "Really?" "Yes." She didn't know what to do with indifference. It unbalanced her. It always does. The kind of woman who thrives on reaction can't stand silence. I blocked her after the third call. Then, slowly, the messages stopped coming. Her sister kept me updated without meaning to. Small talk that turned into confession. How she'd lost weight, couldn't focus, how the man she thought she wanted wasn't calling her back. It didn't surprise me. She'd mistaken attention for affection, validation for love. They always do. I didn't take pleasure in her unraveling. Not exactly. It was something colder, quieter, like watching a storm drift away after wrecking your house. You don't celebrate, you just rebuild. Weeks later, she showed up at my door. Hair unwashed, eyes red, the confidence gone. She looked small, like the shadow of the woman who left. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "He didn't care about me. I thought you'd fight for me." I let her speak, let her fill the air with guilt and regret. Then I said, "You wanted to be appreciated. Did he?" Tears, silence, a nod that came too late. I didn't invite her in, didn't raise my voice, just stood there, calm, the way I used to in interrogation rooms. Still, unblinking, patient. "Go home," I said. "Please, I can fix this." "No," I cut her off. "You broke it on purpose. That's not something you fix, that's who you are." She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. Maybe she didn't. She left without looking back. The revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't revenge at all. It was absence. I didn't answer when she called again, didn't acknowledge the letters, didn't give her the satisfaction of closure. Instead, I deleted every photo, every trace, every memory that once gave her weight in my life. I erased her existence with the precision of a surgeon removing something malignant. Her sister sent one last message. "She's falling apart. She says you don't care." I replied with 2 words. "She's right." That was the moment she lost. Not when I put the suitcase by the door, not when her new man abandoned her, but when she realized my silence was permanent. It's been 6 months now. Sometimes I pass places we went together, restaurants, parks, the corner where she once laughed like the world belonged to her. None of it hurts. It's just quiet. I learned something about love. It doesn't end when someone leaves. It ends when you stop explaining why. I never wanted revenge. I wanted peace. And peace, I've learned, often comes disguised as loneliness. Her sister texted again last week. She's still not eating. I looked at the message for a long time, then put the phone face down. Some people spend their lives starving for the things they threw away. I finished my coffee, opened the window, and let the morning light in. She wanted appreciation. What she got was understanding of what she really was and of what I no longer needed to be.